Hi, this is a 6-part tutorial series to make a complete platformer game in Gamemaker. The game we're making in this series includes momentum-based movement, wall jumping, a save and load system, and everything else you need to make your own platformer game. The goal is to help you learn about Gamemaker and what you can do in this app with relatively simple code. My name is Dr. Sky, and I'm a professor of digital media arts at the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is part 4. In this video, you will learn how to add automatic tiles for your level's visual design, how to add sounds, and how to implement a tutorial sign system using in-game signs that your players can read. We have some housekeeping to do in our game before we get started, though. Before we get started on the demonstration, there are a few things you need to do before you start. The first thing you need to do is delete your R level 2 room entirely. Just get rid of it. Second, you need to delete everything in your R level 1 room, including blocks, enemies, checkpoints, everything. Resize the room to 960 pixels wide and 544 pixels high. And change the behind layer, change the name so it's called blocks instead. You'll need to change where dust is created in the O player step event. So dust is created in the player layer because before it was created in the behind layer that we've changed. So you'll need to go into your O player under calculate current status and animations and find where you create dust right here and change the layer where dust is created from behind and change it to player. You need to change your block sprite. Before, if you recall, it was kind of gray with a big X in it. Edit the image, delete what you have, and then as a new block, use the fill tool, choose a bright color, but then go over here and click on that color to customize it and change the alpha value so it's relatively low, so it's mostly transparent, and then fill it in. Because we're going to be using this as collision blocks, but we'll also want to see the automatic tiles underneath them. After you do that, you need to use your newly created blocks layer and create a very simple first level of your game. And then after you do that, go into your other layers and add checkpoints and enemies and everything else you need for this first level. I didn't add a door yet because I don't have a second level yet, so I just left this space open for when I'm going to add a door later. After you've created a very simple level, you'll need to make a new script to house the R splash room creation code so we can easily make changes to it in the future without having to open the room editor. So go to scripts and create a new script called splash. And in it, I just copied and pasted everything that was in our splash room creation code, and I just pasted it right in there. And in the R splash creation code, I just replaced it with that script splash. Now that you have this script to house your creation code for your game where you declare all your global variables, you'll need to adjust the starting position of your player object so it works with your new level design. So what I did is that I just very quickly added a player object in here, turned off the grid, I zoomed in, added it, found out its X and Y position by double clicking on it, which is found here. I wrote that down. I deleted the player object, which is very important. And then in here, I added those coordinates to my splash script. And with that, you should run the game and make sure that everything works as normal. Right now, my game is working just fine. The checkpoints are working. Everything is working. Oh, okay. And now this very simple level is created. I'll be able to add a tile system to give this game its signature look. To make an auto tile system, we need to make and import a tile sheet. Now, I've already made one, and you should feel free to download mine, play around with it, add numbers to each square, and figure out what each square does in terms of being corners, floors, walls, etc. And then you can make or design your own tile sheet. For now, create a new sprite and name it s_tiles. Import, if I can find it, there we go. Import the appropriate image. This is called tileblocks.png. Open that, and this should just look like a garbled mess right now, but it'll make sense in a little bit. We're going to close that, and we're going to create a new tile sheet and call it tile blocks. So I'm going to close these other folders here so we can find it. Locate tile sets right here, right click, create new tile set, and I'm going to call it tile_blocks because we're going to use it to cover wherever we have blocks in the room. So we're going to set the correct parameters. So Gamemaker will let us paint the tiles in our rooms, and it will automatically figure out which tiles should be which parts of the sprite. You'll see after you select your correct sprite here, S-tiles, you should be able to, hold on, let me look at my notes. Tile set properties. Yeah. Auto tiling. There we go. Down here. So if you open tile blocks and click on auto tiling, you should be able to see two types of auto tiles. There's the 47 tile sheet or the 16 tile sheet. Mine is a 47 tile set. So we are going to click this plus symbol here. And Gamemaker will let you assign which tile should be the floor, wall, corners, etc. Now, before we do that, I need to go up here and I need to set this so it's correct. These tiles are 32 pixels wide, 32 pixels high, and there we go. That's the correct size for everything on this grid. Then if you go down to auto tiling, the first block needs to be the empty block. So hold on, let me explain this a different way. The first one is the full one. Sorry, the first block you need to select is the full block, which is the bottom right tile in my tile sheet. So let me zoom in a little bit and make this a little bigger so y'all can see it. There we go. So this is highlighted right here, and this first block needs to be like the completely filled in tile, which on my tile sheet is the bottom right corner right down here. Sorry, that's my text tone. I'm going to click that, and you'll see that it filled in right there. And then the next tile and the remaining tiles, you just start in order and just click through them. And it will fill in the auto tile sheet. Click, 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 click. And the last one is right here. And now we have our auto tile sheet. I also can change the name here where it says library. I can rename this over here where it says auto tile 1, and I'll just rename it something more human. Auto tile. Just capital A, capital T, no underscore. Now I'm going to close this so I don't mess anything up. And I can go into my level 1 room. And I can create a new layer right here, a new tile layer, and place it underneath all of the instance layers, underneath everything. And I'm going to rename it something like tiles or something. So let's rename it. Here we go, tiles. Now in this tiles layer, in layer properties, which we should find right here, no tile set is assigned. So we need to click tile set, click the folder, and add our tile sheet. And then you go over here to the right and click libraries and click auto tile, which we've already set up. And now with this selected, look at that. We have our little tile, and now we can paint with it. And you'll see it just does everything automatically. In fact, we can move our blocks layer just temporarily underneath it. Go back here, libraries, make sure auto tile is selected. And I can just cover wherever I have blocks. You can also, if you have large groups of blocks, you can change the size that you're painting with to be significantly bigger. That's like 6 by 6. I'm just going to go back to 1 because I have a lot of sections where I'm just 1 block high or wide. So now our blocks essentially just act as a collision system and for quick level design, and then we can use our auto tiles to implement the graphics of the game. Now, I'm going to move the tile set back to underneath the blocks layer because this is how I work in my own games, like library, auto tile, because I always want to see and make sure that the two have lined up, because it's very easy if you're covering one with the other to make sure that it's very easy to make a mistake and make it so there is a missing block or a missing tile somewhere. I don't have to add tiles over here because this is off screen, so it's not that big of a deal. And there is our tile system. Now, next, before you run the game, I'm going to close that. You're going to open our block object, and where it says visible, just uncheck that. So when you play the game, the blocks disappear even though they're still there and acting for our collisions. So I'm going to run the game, and we have the look of our game, the look of our platforms. And it looks way cooler. So you'll see that floors are automatically assigned as floors, walls and ceilings automatically assigned as ceilings. Now, the game graphics I've designed are very simple. Everything in this game is stripped down because I wanted this to be the most simple platforming system as possible and very small, so people can't steal my designs. But you can make this way more in-depth and make it look like grass and like a dirt roof or rocks or stones. And you can find great examples online of tile sheets for Gamemaker. Just Google Gamemaker tile sheets and you should be able to find a lot of great examples. Next, let's add some sound effects and music. Create a new sound. So find where it says sounds, create sound, and name it SND_music. Here, click the 3 dots and import the correct sound, which is SND music. And reduce the volume a bit, and you can hit this play button to listen to it. It's music I made for another game of mine. And we're going to create a lot of sounds really quick, so I'll try to do it quickly so I don't lose your attention. Create a new sound. Create sound. Name it SND_step. Import the step sound. And reduce the volume a lot, like to 40%. Change it later during game testing if it's too loud or too quiet. A new sound called SND death. Import the death sound. Close that window. New sound SND jump. Jump. Close that. Create a new sound SND checkpoint. Checkpoint sound, close that. New sound, SND hard fall. You guessed it, find it here. Assign it, close that. New sound, SND attack. Find our attack sound, close that. For the music, we're going to add the following code to start and then loop the music to both the splash script and the room code script. So if you go to our scripts, let's start with our splash script because it starts the game. We're going to write play music if exclamation point or bang audio is playing. So that's asking the game if this audio is not playing. SND music, double close parentheses, open curly brackets, close curly brackets, audio play sound SND music, comma. Priority, this game can handle a lot of sounds, but there are a limited number of sound channels. So I just set the priority to 1. You can do that with all your sounds in this game. And then whether we want it to loop or not, we can say true or false. We do want it to loop, so we're going to write true. Semicolon there. The caution should disappear. And let's run the game, see if we get music. Yep, we have music now. For the jump sound, we're going to go to the O player step event. Close that. And go to the ground jump section in the calculate movement region. If I can find it, wall jump, ground jump. And in the key jump if statement, add if bang audio is playing SND jump audio play sound SND jump 1, and I don't want it to loop because it's a sound effect 0. Sound effect. Now, because we're going to be repeating this code a lot, I'm going to just copy that. And I'll be pasting a lot of stuff and just changing what it says. We're going to find wall jump and add it to its if statement. If on wall. Where are we at? Like right here, I think. And let's just see if it works. And for wall jumping. Beautiful. We got a jumping sound effect. Now for the stepping sound, in the adjust sprite section, so let's go to current status and animations, under adjust sprite, under the if on ground comment, if I can find it. If on ground, there we go. This is why we comment our code. If on ground, we're going to rearrange the code and add a new line for the sound. So it says if HSP does not equal 0, sprite index s player run, and right underneath that, we'll write our sound effect. Change this from jump to step. Step. Else, everything. So we're just adding that right there. So this code relies on the sound being, the actual sound file being adjusted in a certain way. There's a brief moment of silence built into the audio that I edited into the audio file. So the audio automatically spaces itself if we loop it. Now we need to change this to true because this is a looping sound effect. True. So the sound will loop, but it will only loop after that brief pause because that brief pause is built into the actual audio file. So if you're going to create your own step sounds, if you're, say, opening an audio editor like Audacity, be sure to add some silence to the end and increase the silence if you need your steps to sound more slow, like if you want the step sounds to come more quickly, like adjust the silence at the end of your actual audio file so it works. All right. Oh, do I need this to loop actually? Hold on. Oh, player left or right. Let's test it out. I can't remember if this actually needs to loop. I think it does. Oh, yeah, that's no good because that makes the audio keep going. I think this will play just fine because we're holding the button down. That sound is a little quiet, so let's go to sounds, go to step, increase the volume a little bit. Okay, it's working now. All right, so this is what the code looks like. Be sure to set this to actually false, not true. It is still looping in its way because we're holding down the key to make the character move, and so we still need that moment of silence after the audio file. But if you use my audio file that I've already created, it's no worries. It's not a big deal. All right, for the death sound, we're going to close this and open our death script. Oh, not our death sound. Close that. Our death script here. And we can add that sound here. We're going to change it from sound jump to sound death. Let's test it out. Beautiful. And then for our checkpoints, in our O checkpoint object in the step event, under where all the global variables get declared and we have our screen shake code, we can add the audio code. And instead of being jump, it'll be SND checkpoints. Test it out. Yep. We get a checkpoint sound. Beautiful. And for the hard fall sound in the O player step event, under collisions, where we have the screen shake here, we're going to adjust the code where it says if VSP == max VSP. Let's add an open curly bracket and a closed curly bracket around that. We still have the screen shake, and then we'll also add our sound effect. Change this to hard fall. Test it out. Yep, we have a hard fall sound. Lovely. Lastly, our attack sound effect in the attack region. In key attack, where we have screen shake, we will add that sound effect. Attack. Attack. Run the game and test it out. Oh, I have an issue. Oh, missing open close parentheses there. There we go. Okay, we have our attack sound. We have all of our sounds now. Lastly, for this video, we're going to implement a sign system to give instructions to players or to give tutorials. A simple way of doing it is to duplicate our checkpoint object because it already has some text that appears above it. We're going to right-click it, click duplicate, and we're going to rename it O_sign. We're going to create a new sprite create sprite and name it S sign and import the appropriate images, which should be checkpoint 0 and checkpoint 1. So the first image should be 0, the second image should be 1, and 0 mean, oh, no, that's for the checkpoints. That's incorrect. No. It's just a single image, and it's a question mark that I made. There we go. Single image, question mark. That's going to be our little tutorial signs that the player object can touch and get a little sign explaining how to play the game. Back in OSign, we will change the sprite to the appropriate sprite. And in the create event code, where it says progress saved, we're just going to change that to test text, please ignore. And then in the step event, we're going to remove the check for the checkpoint ID stuff. If this, else that. We're going to still have a check for meeting the player object or touching the player object, but we're going to get rid of all of this. And should we have a screen shake? No, we don't need a screen shake anymore. In fact, we don't need any of this. We're just going to rewrite a lot of this code. Place meeting OPlayer. If text fade double equals 0, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, pop equals true, scale equals 2, audio, play, sound, SND, checkpoint, 1, false, sound effect, text fade equals text fade max, else, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, text fade equals, and this is what we do to like reduce the text fade, max of 0 or text fade minus 1. Pop is true. That should look, I think that should all be the same. And the draw event, yeah. Everything in the animate section can stay exactly the same. And for the draw event, keep the draw event the exact same. Now place your sign object somewhere in your room. Oh, sign. Put it under the player layer, maybe? No, the chat. Let's put mine under the checkpoints because it's kind of operating similar to checkpoints. And I'll put it right here. So when I touch it and I stay there, this text just stays up there. Test text, please ignore. And I walk away, it fades away. Beautiful. So if it's working properly, let's change the text in the actual room editor. So right here where I've placed this instance, I can double click that, go to creation code, and write text equals use arrow keys to move. Close that. And now when we touch it, we'll get use arrow keys to move. Now I'm going to move this so it meets right where the player gets created. I'll have to test that around a little bit. Oh, it's, how about there? There we go. Use arrow keys to move. And now I might move the player over a little bit. So I'm going to open my Splash script. Change this X to be maybe like 160, 160. Beautiful. Maybe a little more. 166, 166. Close that. And in my room, I'm going to move that up by 16 pixels. I think the player still touch it. No, the player doesn't touch it. I'll move it down. All right, let's add a few other instructions. So let's add some more signs. I can do things like right here, creation code. I can write text equals. Actually, yeah. Hold on. I already said arrow keys to move. Here I can write creation code text equals jump on walls. I can also add a sign here that says text equals don't touch bad things, semicolon. Another sign up here, move the checkpoint a little bit. Text equals checkpoints save your progress. We can even add a sign over here. That says something like text equals press space bar to attack enemies. I'll just do that. Press space bar to attack. And what's great about this system is that it's relatively adaptable. If you add, like, over here right before a checkpoint, if you add a / or a \n right in the middle of your string, it looks kind of ridiculous here, but that adds a return right in your line and it'll give it a line break. So let's look at that. So use arrow keys to move. Beautiful. Don't touch bad things. Jump on walls. Checkpoint save your progress. And you can see that it has 2 lines to it because I added that /n. And I could even add one to this. Press spacebar to attack. I can add a little line break there. Press spacebar to attack. And there we have our auto tile system, our sounds, and a sign tutorial system for your platformer. Things are coming together. Things are coming together. In our next video, we'll learn how to make a title screen and a save and load system, and I will see you there.